My beloved brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today I want to remind myself and all of you, that true peace, the kind of peace that keeps your heart steady, even when the world shakes around you, does not come from wealth, it does not come from status, and it certainly does not come from the approval of people. True peace begins the moment your heart learns to trust Allah completely. Tawakkul, complete reliance upon Allah, is not just a phrase we say when we feel helpless. It's a powerful spiritual tool, a declaration of belief that says, "Oh Allah, I know you are enough for me." And when the believer truly hands their affairs over to Allah, that's when calmness enters. That's when the storm may rage outside, but there's a garden of peace within. So let us dive deep today into this beautiful concept of tawakkul, and discover how, no matter what trials we face, the key to inner peace lies in trusting the one who never fails. May Allah grant us hearts that rely upon Him and souls that are content with His decree. Ameen. Tawakkul is not weakness. It's the highest form of strength. Many people misunderstand the concept of trusting in Allah. They assume that putting your trust in the Almighty means sitting back, doing nothing, and waiting for a miracle. But in reality, tawakkul is one of the most courageous acts a believer can engage in. It requires you to let go of your illusion of control, and to fully hand over your affairs to the one who actually controls everything. Allah. That takes strength. That takes a heart that is connected to its Creator. A heart that has been through storms and still chooses to believe in the wisdom and mercy of Allah. In this world we are constantly taught to depend on ourselves, to hustle, to push through, to never rely on anyone else. But tawakkul teaches something deeper. It doesn't tell you to stop working. It tells you to do your part while knowing that the outcome is never truly in your hands. It teaches that real power, real security, comes not from what you do, but from the one who allows anything to happen. And when you understand that, you become strong in a way that others may not understand. People may ask, "Why aren't you stressed?" And you'll simply say, "Because I know Allah will take care of it." A tawakkul makes a person fearless. Why? Because when you know your life, your sustenance, your health, your success, and even your tests are all written by Allah, you stop panicking about things you cannot control. You start facing life with calmness. You stop overthinking every step. You try your best, you make dua, and you leave the rest to Allah with full confidence that whatever happens is exactly what was meant to happen. That inner peace, that unshakable strength, can only come from tawakkul. Look at the life of the Prophet Muhammad. He was the strongest of men, yet he relied completely on Allah. Whether it was during the battles, in the cave during Hijrah, or when faced with loss and rejection, he didn't collapse in fear. His strength came from his trust in Allah. That's the kind of strength we need to develop. Not a worldly strength that comes and goes with success or failure, but a spiritual strength that remains firm no matter what. So, when you choose tawakkul, you're not giving up. You're rising up. You're saying, "I've done my part, and now I'm handing it over to the one who never makes mistakes." That is not weakness. That is true strength. That is where peace begins. Trusting Allah means accepting His plan even when it breaks yours. This is one of the most difficult yet powerful truths a believer must come to terms with. Often we make plans, we set goals, and we put in effort expecting things to turn out a certain way. But then, something unexpected happens. A job we wanted slips away, a relationship ends, a door we were praying for suddenly closes. In those moments it feels like everything is falling apart. But from Allah's perspective, everything is falling into place. Tawakkul is not just about trusting Allah when things go your way. It is about holding firm even when they don't. It's about saying, "Ya Allah, I don't understand why this is happening, but I trust that you do." That level of surrender is not easy. It takes a heart that knows Allah's plan is better than our desires. It takes faith that the one who created you knows exactly what you need and what you don't, even when it hurts. That is the essence of true reliance. There will be moments when you feel broken, when your due feels unanswered, and when your efforts seem wasted. But that is exactly where the test of tawakkul begins. Anyone can have faith when life is smooth, but the real believer is the one who keeps trusting even when they are walking through darkness with no clear way out. Trusting Allah doesn't mean life will be free from pain. It means that even in pain, your heart will be at ease knowing that it comes from the one who is most merciful. Sometimes, Allah removes things from your life not to punish you, but to protect you. He delays certain blessings not to deny you, but to give you something better, at the right time. We might not see the wisdom in the moment, but later we look back and realize that what we once cried for, was actually saving us from something we could not handle. That is the beauty of Allah's plan. It's always designed with love, even when it's disguised as disappointment. When your plan breaks and you choose to accept Allah's instead, you are not losing. You are gaining something far greater. You are gaining closeness to Allah. You are gaining peace, patience, and a heart that knows how to remain firm through trials. That kind of faith transforms you. It makes you stronger, more resilient, and more connected to your Creator. So, the next time life doesn't go as you hoped, don't ask, why me? Instead say, Alhamdulillah, I trust you, O Allah. Because true peace comes not from everything going right, but from believing that even when things go wrong, Allah's plan is still the best plan. And if you trust that, no heartbreak, no failure, no setback can ever truly defeat you. Tawakkul brings peace because you no longer carry the burden alone. Life can be overwhelming. There are times when the weight of responsibilities, worries, and uncertainties becomes too heavy to carry. People often feel crushed under the pressure of trying to figure everything out on their own. But Islam gives us a gift, the beautiful concept of tawakkul. When you truly rely on Allah, you're not saying, I give up. You're saying, I know I don't have to carry this alone anymore. That belief alone lifts the heaviest burdens off your heart. When a person has tawakkul, they understand that Allah is al-Wakil, the best disposer of affairs. That means no matter how difficult life gets, Allah is managing things behind the scenes in a way that we may not always understand, but can always trust. You do your best, you take the necessary steps, and then you leave the rest to Him. That moment when you hand your affairs over to Allah, sincerely and wholeheartedly, is the moment your heart begins to experience true peace. Imagine walking with a heavy load on your shoulders for miles. You're tired, in pain, and every step feels heavier than the last. Now imagine someone stronger, someone who loves you, comes along and says, let me carry that for you. Wouldn't you feel relief? That is what tawakkul does for the soul. It is a spiritual release. It's not that the problems disappear instantly, but the pressure of trying to solve everything alone is lifted. You begin to feel lighter, more grounded, and less anxious. So many people struggle with anxiety and stress because they constantly try to control things that are simply not in their control. They worry about tomorrow, about people's opinions, about things that may never even happen. But when you rely on Allah, your mindset shifts. You stop obsessing over the outcome because you trust that whatever comes your way is already written and meant for you. And Allah does not make mistakes. Tawakkul doesn't mean life will be perfect. It means that even in imperfection, your heart will remain calm. The Prophet Muhammad showed us the perfect example of tawakkul. Even when he was faced with trials, enemies, and loss, his trust in Allah never wavered. And because of that trust, he had inner peace even in the most difficult situations. That same strength is available to us, if we choose to rely on Allah as he did. When your heart rests in the knowledge that Allah is in control, peace enters. The burden is no longer yours to carry alone. And every time you feel overwhelmed, you simply return to the one who said, call upon me, I will respond to you. That is the power of tawakkul, a deep, unshakable peace that comes from knowing you're never alone, and never without help. True reliance is taking action while believing results come only from Allah. Tawakkul is often misunderstood. Some people assume that trusting in Allah means sitting back, doing nothing, and waiting for things to happen. But the reality is quite the opposite. Islam teaches a beautiful balance, that we must tie our camel, make the effort, take the steps, and then trust that the outcome is entirely in the hands of Allah. This balance between effort and trust is what defines real tawakkul. The Prophet Muhammad taught us this through his words and actions. Once a man asked him, should I tie my camel and trust in Allah, or should I leave it untied and trust in Allah? The Prophet replied, tie your camel, and then trust in Allah. This simple yet powerful advice tells us that while we place our trust in Allah, we must also take the necessary means. Trusting in Allah does not replace action, it completes it. In life we all have goals, whether it's seeking knowledge, providing for our families, raising righteous children, or overcoming personal struggles. Tawakkul means we do everything within our power. We plan, we work hard, we seek help. But at the same time we don't become attached to the results. We remind ourselves that success or failure, gain or loss, ease or hardship, all come from Allah's will. This mindset protects us from despair when things go wrong and from arrogance when things go right. Many people become anxious because they think they are in control of the outcome. They feel that if they make one wrong move, everything will collapse. But Tawakkul teaches us that while we are responsible for effort, the results are never ours to control. You could do everything perfectly and still not get what you wanted. And that's okay, because Allah knows what is best for you. On the other hand, you might make mistakes, but through Allah's mercy, you may still succeed. That is the beauty of Tawakkul. It liberates the heart from constant fear of failure. Think about the farmers who plant seeds. They till the soil, water the ground, and protect their crops. But in the end, they cannot make the rain fall, nor can they control the sun. They do their part, and the rest is up to Allah. Our lives work the same way. We plant the seeds of effort, but the fruit comes only by Allah's command. Tawakkul is a powerful form of worship. It is a declaration that you believe in the wisdom, knowledge, and mercy of your Creator. It strengthens your relationship with Allah because you involve Him in every step of your journey. So take action, make the effort, do your best, but then step back and say with full conviction, whatever happens, I know Allah's plan is better than mine. That is the heart of true reliance. The prophets taught us that Tawakkul is constant, even in crisis. Throughout the stories of the prophets in the Quran, one thing remains consistent: their unwavering trust in Allah, regardless of the severity of the situation. Their lives were not free from hardship. In fact, they faced some of the most difficult trials any human could endure: rejection, loss and exile. Yet through all of it their hearts remained firm, grounded in Tawakkul. Take Prophet Ibrahim, for example. When he was thrown into the fire by his people for rejecting their idols and calling them to the oneness of Allah, his trust did not waver. In that moment of extreme danger, what did he say? Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. Allah is sufficient for us, and He is the best disposer of affairs. And what happened? Allah commanded the fire to be cool and safe for him. The very thing meant to destroy him became a means of his elevation. That's what Tawakkul does. It transforms pain into purpose and crisis into comfort. Then there is Prophet Musa WWW, standing with his people at the edge of the sea, with Pharaoh and his army chasing them from behind. The people around him panicked, crying, "We're surely going to be overtaken." But Musa, filled with Tawakkul, responded with confidence, Yukala, Inamaya Rabbi, Sayyadin, no! Indeed, my Lord is with me, He will guide me. That is the kind of trust that opens oceans. And indeed, Allah split the sea for him, saving him and his people in a way no one could have imagined. Prophet Muhammadan showed the same example during the Hijrah to Medina. While hiding in the cave with Abu Bakr Hatsa, the enemies were right outside. Abu Bakr feared for the Prophet's safety, but the Prophet then calmly reassured him, saying, "Do not grieve, indeed, Allah is with us." That was Tawakkul in action. Calmness in the face of danger, trust when the situation looks impossible. What we learn from the prophets is that Tawakkul is not something we switch on and off depending on our circumstances. It is a constant state of the heart. It remains firm when things are easy, and it becomes even stronger when things are hard. Crisis doesn't break the believer who has Tawakkul. It refines them. Today, we may not face the same trials as the prophets, but we all go through our own struggles. Emotional pain, loss, uncertainty, and fear. In those moments the legacy of the prophets teaches us what to do: turn to Allah, trust Him completely, and never let go of hope. That is the essence of faith. That is Tawakkul. Trusting that even in the darkest hour, Allah is still with you, still guiding you, and still capable of turning your trial into a triumph. You can't control everything, but you can trust the one who does. Life is full of uncertainty. No matter how carefully you plan, how hard you work, or how much you prepare, there will always be things that are out of your hands. It can be terrifying to realize how little control we actually have. But for a believer, this realization is not a cause for panic. It's a doorway to peace. Because while you may not be in control, you know the one who is Allah, the most wise, the most powerful, the most merciful. Tawakkul means surrendering that illusion of control and trusting that Allah's plan is always better than yours. It doesn't mean you stop trying. It means you stop worrying about the things you were never meant to control in the first place. It means doing your part with sincerity, and then leaving the results to the one who sees what you cannot see, who knows what you do not know. That trust brings peace to the heart in a way nothing else can. Many of our struggles come from trying to control outcomes that aren't in our hands. We try to control people's opinions of us, how things will unfold, or when our du'as will be answered. But no matter how much we try, some things will always remain beyond us. And that's okay. That's by design. Allah didn't create us to carry the weight of everything. He created us to turn to Him, to rely on Him, and to find strength in knowing that He is in control, not us. When something doesn't go your way, it's easy to become frustrated or question why. But a heart that has tawakkul responds differently. It says, "This didn't go as I planned, but perhaps it's going exactly as Allah planned. Maybe that delay is protecting you. Maybe that closed door is redirecting you. Maybe that hardship is strengthening you." When you begin to see life through the lens of tawakkul, everything changes. Not because the challenges disappear, but because your trust in Allah becomes stronger than your fear of the unknown. This mindset brings a calm that is unshakable. While others may panic when plans fall apart, the one with tawakkul remains grounded, because their hope doesn't depend on worldly circumstances. It depends on their Lord, the one who never fails, never forgets, and never makes mistakes. The storms of life may rage on, but the heart that trusts in Allah remains firm, like a tree with deep roots. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, remember this: you were never meant to control everything. You were meant to try to pray, and to trust. And when you trust Allah fully, that's when peace begins to enter your heart. That's when you realize that the one who holds the skis without pillars is also holding your life with care and mercy. And if He is in control, then you have nothing to fear. My beloved brothers and sisters, as we reflect on all that has been said, one truth shines brighter than all. True peace, lasting peace, begins the moment we place our full trust in Allah. In a world filled with uncertainty, fear and disappointment, tawakkul is not just a spiritual concept. It is a lifeline. It is the anchor that keeps the heart steady when everything around it is shaking. It is the calm that enters when you realize, "I am not alone. My Lord is with me." We've learned today that tawakkul is not passive. It's not an excuse to give up or stop trying. It is taking action with sincerity, while firmly believing that the results lie only in the hands of Allah. It is the courage to let go of what you cannot control, and the faith to accept whatever Allah decides, knowing that His plan is always better than yours. We looked at the lives of the prophets, Ibrahim, Musa, and our beloved Prophet Muhammad, and saw how, even in their darkest hours, their trust in Allah never faded. And because of that trust, Allah turned their pain into purpose, their struggles into strength, and their losses into victories. These are not just stories of the past, they are lessons for our present. They are reminders that no matter what we go through, Allah never abandons the one who trusts in Him. So if you are facing uncertainty, if your heart is heavy, if your plans have failed and your path seems unclear, remember, you don't have to carry it all. Trust in the one who created you, who knows you better than you know yourself, who is always near, always listening, and always planning in your favor, even when you can't see it. Let go of fear. Let go of control. Let go of the anxiety of trying to manage everything on your own. And instead, place your heart in the hands of Allah. Say with conviction, Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. Allah is sufficient for us, and He is the best disposer of affairs. That is where peace begins. That is where strength is found. And that is how you walk through this life. Not alone, not afraid, but firmly grounded in the beautiful reality that when you have Allah, you have everything you need. May Allah grant us hearts full of tawakkul, lives filled with peace, and an unshakable faith that carries us through every test. Ameen.